Hello everybody, welcome to Manine's Nail Station. Today I'm going to introduce you to our acrylic nail training course, our free acrylic nail training course. Let me just get the camera a little bit better. Alright, let's just see. Sorry. Okay, so we are going to do an introduction into acrylic nails. And what you're going to be learning on this course, let me get me out of the way here. You are going to learn how to prepare the workstation. So when a client comes in, you need to be able to prepare a workstation. You need to know what tools you need in order to do your acrylic nails. And you need to know how to apply, shape and blend artificial tips. And how we are going to apply the sculpting form, so we are going to do that as well, and how to apply liquid and powder enhancements using acrylic, and we're going to provide after nail care. So this is what you're going to be learning in the acrylic nail training course. I do suggest, however, that you need to go back to the gel training course, as on the gel training course you will see nail diseases and disorders, the different shapes of nails, how to file different shaped nails, how to apply a tip. I probably will repeat some of the modules, but I want to try and keep the modules a little bit different. So go back to the other one and don't forget to subscribe. Click that button and subscribe. And then you'll get all the updates to all the latest modules and things. So this is just an introduction into the acrylic nail training course. And we are going to be doing all these different wonderful things. Sorry, I have to take this light. It's so bright that it's actually making me blind. Okay, so you will then, so on this course, let's just recap. You're going to prepare the workstation, prepare the nail plate, apply, shape and blend artificial tip, apply a sculpting form, apply liquid and powder enhancement, fill and remove liquid and powder nail enhancement. So you're going to learn how to do a fill and provide an aftercare service. Alright, so let's start. We are going to prepare the nail station. So please feel free to make notes as we go along. What you'll need is an antibacterial, sorry, I'm getting all things coming across. You'll need an antibacterial spray. You can use an alcohol based hygienic, this is hygienic prep. So you'll need alcohol, probably 90% alcohol on that. You'll need emery boards, so you'll need an assortment of emery boards. So the higher the number, let me see if I've got some numbers in here. The higher the number, if you can see here, we've got a 180 by 180. So if it's 100, it's more coarse. The lower it comes down to like a 240, will be less. Not all my files have got the grits on them. Let's just have a look if I can see any others. You can kind of feel by the grit on them. I've got here 180 by 240 file. And these files, what you can do, and what I do, which lasts a lot longer, is I take my hygienic hand soap and I put it onto my brush and I just rub it like this to take all the dust and particles off, bacteria, and I let it dry. And that you can use your files a lot more, and also it helps to disinfect your files. So I never use the same set of files on a client. If I do use those files, they get washed straight away after that client, ready for once they're dry. So I've got a set of a whole lot of files. Once they're dry, so I will get another one. Then what you're going to need is a cuticle pusher. There are a lot of different cuticle pushers out there. So you can get an orange stick. You can get one of these metal cuticle pushers. Very nice to have. You're going to need obviously your paper towel. Okay, so you're going to be working on a paper towel. You're going to be needing a pre-primer. So some of them come in a bottle, depending on your brand, the primer. So you get an acid primer, a non-acid primer, depending on which product you're going to use. And again, obviously a dusting brush and your primer. So your pre-primer could be your dehydrator. So your nail dehydrator, which could be your alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and then you've got your primer thereafter. So when you are setting out your table, so let's recap. You're going to need your antibacterial spray, your emery boards, your cuticle pusher, your paper towel, your pre-primer. I should actually put in there what was that? It is a pre-primer. It's a nail dehydrator, and then your dusting brush, your primer. You're also going to need for acrylic a dapping dish where you're going to put your liquid into. You're going to need an acrylic brush. All right. A thing about the acrylic brushes, I wonder if I shouldn't just try and put it onto here so you can see maybe better. Okay, so if you look at the acrylic brush, this is made of what's it? It's sable hair. Kalinsky. Sorry, I don't know why. Today I'm just going a bit blank today. So this is Kalinsky Sable. I've had this brush for a very, very long time. I think it's a size 12 brush. I'm not too sure. But what you do, and just to let you know, so this is obviously your Kalinsky fibers coming out there. This is the ferrule. You don't want to store your brush standing up like this, because all the liquid will fall down into the barrel, and when you then apply it, it's going to run out and it could contaminate your liquid, so you don't want that. To clean your brush, you're going to take a little bit of monomer. So your acrylic liquid is called a monomer, and your powder is called a polymer. And I think in one of the, this is your polymer. I think in one of the videos, I'm going to do a presentation on all the chemicals that are in, what to look out for and what not to look out for. So now I'm just basically cleaning my brush. So I dip it into the dapping dish and I sort of fan it out like that, so that all the bubbles and everything gets out of the brush. And this is how you would kind of condition your brush and to keep it clean. If you find that you do get, if you work too dry and you get acrylic stuck in your brush, the only way that you can really get that out is by fanning it on the table with a file and just brushing out any of the hard acrylic like that on both sides, and that way you can get rid of any hard acrylic that's in there. So always pre-condition your brush, all right, and then always make sure when you put it into the lid that it's all the fibers are close together, so that you don't have any fibers that are going to stick out and so on. All right. So that is the brush. I just want to move this out of the way. Okay, let's see. I've lost the table of contents. All right, so hold on one second. Don't know why this is not moving here. Okay, so the other thing that you're going to need on your station is obviously your nail tips, which we've gone through in depth in the gel course. So you're going to need your nail tips, you're going to need your forms, and you know they come in different forms. There's all different types of forms that you can work with. So you're going to need some forms to do sculpting with. So on this training course we are going to be doing tips and sculpting with acrylic. All right. So quite an intense course. I'm going to be placing them up in different modules, and I think the first module I'm going to do is the chemical composition of acrylic. And then just make sure that you have all your goodies in place if you wanted to you know, sort of follow along. Please do so by all means. Alright, so let's see, safety precautions. So I'm going to give you a good introduction and interview into this whole course. So always follow the manufacturer's instructions. This is vital, guys, vital. Alright, never apply product to the skin because that can cause allergies and things like, you don't want that to happen at all. And over prolonged use of a client coming in, she might not get an allergy the time that she comes to you, and say you flood her cuticles and she may seem fine, but if you keep doing that, she can get an allergy and it can, you know, blister up and all sorts of things. So you don't want that. So never apply near the, you know, the skin. Always wipe any spillage away using a paper towel and dispose of that correctly. In other words, what we're saying is dispose of the paper towel with the chemicals in, say, a plastic bag, and then knot it and then throw that into your bin. Never flush any liquids or anything down the drain or the sink. Always wash your hands thoroughly after touching any nail products. You must always make sure that you are familiar with the nail diseases and disorders, so please check out those videos. There are a whole lot of magnificent videos on YouTube with regards to nail diseases and disorders, so familiarize yourself with that. Your room must be really well ventilated, because obviously acrylics do have a strong odor to it. If acrylic doesn't have a strong odor to it, it doesn't adhere as well as one that does, because obviously they've got to eliminate some of the things in order to not have a smell. Always disinfect your client's hands before you touch her or any of the equipment. And if you see a client with any conditions, please refer them to a doctor. All right, let me just carry on here. Always follow the nail removal tutorial closely. Do not force or remove the product off the natural nail. So always follow the protocol of soaking off with acetone, taking off the top layer with an e-file or with a strong coarse file. If you've applied gel on top, cotton wool soaked in acetone, and then, you know, maybe your cotton wool, your foil over that, and one's got to sit for quite some time. You also get these little steaming machines, looks like this, where you put acetone inside of it, and it's got a timer, and it warms up the acetone just to speed up the removal of the acetone. All right. Always remember that your products are very flammable. Don't store in direct sunlight, and never throw, okay, I've told you that already. Okay, customer service. All right, so very, very important to greet the client by name. So if a client makes an appointment, you'll have her name on the appointment card. When she comes in, greet her by her name. Let her fill out a customer card so that you've got all her particulars, and then do a proper analysis on her natural nail. Have a look at her lifestyle. Is she a sporty lady? Does she have babies? Discuss what she wants, and really listen. I think the most important thing is, nail techs seem to get it wrong if you don't listen and let your client do the talking. Don't, sort of interfere all the time. Let her do the talking. Discuss the length, the shape, colors that she's going to have, her lifestyle. Make sure that you subscribe the right type of nail product for her lifestyle. Before you start, you ask your client to please wash her hands with a hygienic hand soap, disinfect and sanitize. All right, let's go to the next slide. So here we've got to assess the condition of the natural nail. So you can see in this picture, this is a bitten nail, and you can tell the bulbous nail that's sort of sitting on the top is the swelling to protect the matrix, as you know in our last course. So one has to try and either fit a tip over that bulbous nail, which is not an easy thing to do, or to just build a very short nail and let it grow out and see the client every 2 weeks is probably the best option. Always prepare the prep is one of the most important things, which we will go through on many occasions. I will be showing you the prep because that is really key into making your nails last. Alright, so when we look at preparing the customer's nails, we have to follow our procedure. We file the edge, we remove the natural shine with a 240 grit, so that's a very low grit. Soak nails in warm water with mild detergent or dry manicure with cuticle remover. Remove dust. Now, I want to just clarify okay, so this is with a nail biter. Sometimes the cuticle area grows up the nail plate, and it becomes very difficult to push back those cuticles. In that case, you will need to have a cuticle softener or something, but be aware that if any of the creams and things go in underneath that cuticle area, alright, the oils can lift the product, and you don't want that. So if you are going to be using a cuticle softener or an oil to get those cuticles back, make sure that you scrub and remove all the oils from the nail, from the cuticle afterwards. So just make sure that it is well cleaned, alright, before you carry on. Alright, so now we're going to select a set of nails. Apply nail products in sequence. So with acrylic we have 3 zones, which I will show you on the nail training course. So you're going to be applying the acrylic to the 3 different zones. You're going to prep the nail plates, you're going to the products that are going to be used, you're going to shape and blend the artificial tip. There's different preparations for different products used. You're going to select the nail tip, so we're going to be doing all of that in the course. How we're going to apply the nail tip, how we apply the primer, and then we're going to look at sculpting, how we apply the sculpting form. So I'm going to be doing one hand with tips, one hand with sculpting forms, so that you can see, and we'll do them in all different modules, just depends on how long each video is. Alright, then you get acrylic powder, which is polymer, and you get a monomer, which is the liquid, which is a methyl acrylate, EMA, building blocks of polymer chain, so they all stick together. It's a catalyst. The catalyst is used to speed up the initiators in the powder, so the monomer speeds up the initiators in the powder. Once mixed, the monomer and the powder create a polymer chain which causes the hardening. UV absorbers to avoid yellowing in the liquid of the acrylic. Acrylics are manufactured either odorless or with a low odor. Odorless acrylics don't use ethyl mercrylic acrylate. Ethyl mercrylic acrylate reacts quickly and creates a strong, stable color enhancement. So that's why you'll find a lot of the acrylics do have that strong smell, because they want a strong, stable color enhancement. So this is just a basically introduction. Low odor products react slower and not as color stable. So just bear that in mind when you are choosing either a low odor or a strong odor acrylic. Okay, so here I've got the advantages and disadvantages of the difference between acrylic nails and gel nails. Acrylic and powder mixes, which is combined into a ball shape that's placed onto a nail with a brush and then air dries. Alright, so these are the advantages and disadvantages. So this you've got to dry, whereas in the gel it gets cured in a UV lamp. Acrylics are more porous and stain easier, where sculpting gel have a higher non-porous surface, and they are less likely to stain. So gel nails don't stain as much as acrylic nails. Acrylics have a strong odor, gel doesn't. Acrylic requires a lot of skill, whereas gel is a little bit easier to apply. Oh, hold on, we just jumped a slide. Aesthetically, I would say that acrylics are stronger, and you can apply a very, very long nail with acrylics. There's a lot of, it's being a nail artist is being an artist. Everyone is different. Every nail technician you go to will be doing something different. So as long as you maintain the basics, I think you will be fine. And, obviously not to mix your products. That's a big key. So, and avoiding obviously all the main criteria. You want to try and protect the natural nail from damaging. So what happens with acrylic nails is that because it's more porous and over a period of time, if a client doesn't come in regularly and she's not putting in her oils and she's not taking care of her nails and there's lifting, one's got to buff away that lifting. And every time you're buffing more into the natural nail, you could be thinning out the natural nail. So once you start with something like this, it's something you need to grow off. You can't just take it off and have nothing on. It will be very thin, and I would suggest growing it off with a gel and just using sort of a top glass and eventually growing it out completely. But once you start nails, you cannot stop it. It's a catch-2 situation. It's a circle of events. So if you are going to be wearing nails, make up your mind and say, what, I'm going to wear them forever. I've worn my nails since I can remember. I've never gone without nails. Yes, my nails have been more damaged than other times, but I just make sure that I grow out all the product and I don't keep taking off and putting on and taking off and putting on. All right. Also, when you've got lifting and things like that, you could get bacteria that goes in under the lift of the product and can cause a fungus. So you don't want that. A weaker set of nails, I would most probably go with gel, just my preference, because I find if your natural nail is very flexible and thin, a flexible and thin product won't lift as easy as a hard porous product. So over a longer period of time, I would grow off with the gel. So let's have a look at the advantages. So acrylic is much stronger. You can have a very long nails with it. Sorry, it's just disadvantages is that it's porous and it can become create an infection, and it has to be buffed off in acetone or buffed off. A hard gel you need to have buff off as well. So a hard gel you would also need to buff off. So it all depends on what your preferences are. Always good, I know that in the colleges you need to know all the different nail systems in order to qualify as a nail technician. And it's important to know all the different systems, because you will find afterwards that something will resonate more with you and you'll become that kind of nail technician. But in order to get your diploma, you do need to know all the different systems, and also you need to know your game. So if a client comes in and asks for a specific type of nail, you need to be able to tell them all about it. So there are dip nails that you dip with acrylic as well, using a sort of a glue. The two work together. Creating chains, one activates the other. So the dip advantage is that it's quick, you're just dipping. They are more flexible than obviously your monomer and polymer. Then your hybrid acrylics is a combination of your gel and your acrylic-like polygel, and they give you the strength and the flexibility of both systems. Hybrid gels do not air dry and they need to be cured in a UV lamp, so just remember that. So there's a lot of things to remember here, a lot of different systems. You'll find one that you'll gravitate more towards. I mean, I was predominantly an acrylic lady. I love doing acrylics, don't get me wrong. I found there's a lot more control in them, whereas with gel, you've got to kind of work in the air and, sort of plow it and wiggle it, into place. Whereas with acrylic, you've got more control. So Also, I think acrylic nail techs tend to be heavier on their hands with the filing, so be aware of that, because that's what I noticed with me. Maybe not everybody, but with me. Disclaimer there. All right, so let's see the next slide. All right, we are going to show you how to remove the product safely, how we're going to assess the condition of the natural nail, identify problems, how they could be corrected. So in other words, I'll give you an idea. What's happened here now? Gone to the wrong slide, it just disappeared there. So I wanted to tell you that, so you look at this, so you will look at different kinds of nails. So if a nail is skew, how are we going to straighten it using acrylic? There's all different methods that one can do to sculpture the nail. And to do it, it's phenomenal that you can create a nail that looks completely natural, and one would never even think that it was a false nail. And then obviously we are going to be doing again, which you will find the aftercare advice is very similar to the gel nails. Also, never use your nails as tools, so always tell your clients about this as well. One can just take a photograph of this and, you know, sort of copy it if you want to give your clients. All right, so let's just have a overview now. There we are. So this is what we're going to be doing, and my first module is going to be on the chemical side of things. Then we are going to do in setting up our station for acrylic, and then demonstrating the prep, and we're going to do one hand with tips, one hand sculpting, and then I've also got a, don't know if you guys have seen this, very good, it's a little finger training hand. Great thing to work with if we're going to be doing our acrylics. Nice to sort of work on this as well. I'm going to show you how to pick up your bead, the correct ratio on the bead. So this comes like this, and you've got a little stand and it bends, so we'll be using that to demonstrate. If you've got hands or something and you want to follow along, please feel free to do so. You're welcome to send me pictures of work that you've done. If you need some kind of advice, I'm happy to assist wherever I can. All right, I think that's about it in terms of the acrylic side of things. We'll get going next week. We'll start our first module on the acrylic training course. So if you haven't watched the gel course, click and subscribe. Go have a look at the gel course, and you'll get to see all the preparations, the nail diseases, disorders, and so on. So I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.